We begin this morning with that desperate search for a mother and her newborn baby after a placenta and umbilical cord were found on the banks of the Cooks River in Sydney's inner west.
Police launched a wide-scale search of the area last night, saying their immediate concern is for the health and safety of the mother. Let's go straight to reporter Jessica Rendell. Jess, good morning. Now, we understand police are ramping up their search efforts there this morning.
That's right, Michael. Police say they'll be sending out divers later today to search the water here in Earlwood. They'll also be putting officers on boats going up and down the river, as well as a team on foot searching for any clues that will help them solve this mystery. Yesterday, a man was walking his dog here at around 4:30 in the afternoon when he found a placenta and an umbilical cord on the banks of the Cooks River here in Earlwood. Now, he alerted police, and when officers came down here, they did some forensic testing and confirmed that it did in fact belong to a human. So now they are on the search for this woman and her child, and they have been contacting hospitals around the area to see if they've turned themselves into any of those hospitals, but they have not been successful in that search yet, and so that will continue on today. Now, this is a very busy area here. Many people walk here in the mornings or walk their dogs and ride their bikes along this area too, so police are hoping that there could be witnesses that might have seen something. We spoke to a gentleman who was walking along here this morning about what he thought of this incident. Take a listen.
I was thinking, what set of circumstances gave rise to something like that. Been here for a long time, and that's a first. Yeah. Anyway, I hope they do find her.
So police are still trying to piece together just what happened here yesterday. They're not sure if the woman gave birth on the riverbanks here or elsewhere and the placenta was brought here, but they're all avenues that they'll be exploring in that investigation, Michael.
Jess, thank you.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has acknowledged an Israeli strike in Gaza's southern city of Rafah was a tragic event. Middle East correspondent Eric Torchek reports.
That airstrike led to the deaths of 45 Palestinians when the tents they were sleeping in caught fire. Israel says the strike was a targeted strike on a senior Hamas leader. It was intended to not have civilian casualties, but the outcome was disastrous. And the strike's been condemned by European leaders and leaders from around the Middle East. Israel's military says it's investigating, and even the country's Prime Minister called it a tragic event. The Egyptian military says one of its soldiers was shot dead by Israeli forces in an exchange of fire on the border between Egypt and Gaza. That's in and around the city of Rafah. Egypt wants Israeli troops to withdraw from Rafah. It's been refusing to send aid through the Rafah border crossing since Israel invaded that southern border city a few weeks ago. It's not known what caused this incident. The Israeli military confirmed it occurred, but didn't give any further details. It is a rare incident between Egypt and Israel. The two sides have had a peace treaty since the late 1970s, although there have been previous clashes, including one in the first weeks of the war when Israeli fire wounded some Egyptian soldiers. So this is a serious incident that comes at a time of increasingly tense relations between Egypt and Israel. Egypt has been protesting about the Israeli invasion of Rafah. It's very worried about the displacement of Palestinians, fearing they could be pushed across the border into Egyptian territory. And Egypt's been a key broker of ceasefire talks between the Israeli government and Hamas, the Palestinian militant group that's still holding around 125 Israelis hostage inside Gaza.
Eric Torchek there with the latest on that, and certainly the international condemnation has been swiftly coming in. Let's have a look at what's happening with the rest of the news with Emma.
Thanks, Lisa. Australia will send technical experts to Papua New Guinea to assist in recovery efforts following Friday's deadly landslide. Almost 700 people are thought to have died in the landslide, but the PNG government is warning that number could increase significantly. Australia is providing an additional $2.5 million in humanitarian assistance that includes shelter, hygiene kits and support for women and children.
We're the closest of neighbours and the dearest of friends, and we owe them a debt of gratitude for their assistance in our floods, our bushfires, obviously World War II and the Kokoda track, and we'll do anything that they need to support them in this disaster.
In breaking news this morning, police have charged a man with murder after a fatal stabbing in North Queensland. Authorities were called to a business in the Townsville suburb of Kirwan, where they found a man with multiple serious injuries. A 31-year-old man is due to appear in the Townsville Magistrates Court today. The Australian National University is warning that police will take action if pro-Palestine protesters on its campus don't pack up their encampment by midday. Demonstrators have vowed to dig in, even though the university says the space needs to be kept empty for emergency evacuations.
Our students are clever people. I'm sure that they will understand the safety concerns that we have for them and for our other members of our community, and we look forward to them moving on from the encampment.
The Northern Territory coroner has seen further examples of allegedly racist awards handed out within an elite unit of the NT Police Force as she investigates the 2019 police shooting of Kumajai Walker. A series of certificates awarded to members of the force's tactical unit were shown to the coronial inquest, which has spent almost 2 years exploring allegations of systemic racism and the culture of the NT Police Force. Former Constable Zachary Rolfe, who was acquitted of all charges related to the shooting, was not involved with the awards, but alerted the coroner to their existence in February. The Chief Executive of Nine Entertainment has acknowledged serious allegations of inappropriate behaviour at the network in the wake of media reports. In an email obtained by the ABC, CEO Mike Sneesby says he's met with Nine News to discuss what he calls a failure of leadership in television newsrooms. The email addresses an official complaint made by a female staff member, which Nine claims was dealt with immediately. An external firm has been asked to conduct a review of Nine's culture. A South Australian council has voted to no longer call solar or wind farms farms. The Kirwan District Council, southeast of Adelaide, plans to call them installations, projects or plants instead. Councils in the region have been arguing for several years that wind farms should have to pay rates on the value of their turbines, not just the land they sit on, and hope the move will bolster their argument.